What are we live?
I believe so. It looks like it.
Well, if we were clever, I would have a scrolling marquee of insert clever text here. Welcome to the show. We're doing the Waffle Cast again. My co-hosts. Wait, I'm a co-host. My host, Katie Waffles and Jim Toe. I'm Guido. If you don't know that by now, you're probably lucky. We've just been sitting here bullshitting for a couple of minutes and trying to get our bearings. So excuse us if we're a little disoriented. But here we are.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
What he said. So
Yeah.
I guess today we're going to talk about fun and ridiculous gaming moments, glitches, exploits, things that you've noticed while you're gaming, like an enemy swimming through the air, etc. And I know Jim has plenty to talk to when it comes to glitches like that. I don't have a lot of glitches, but I got a lot of fun times that I've had, as I'm sure everybody else has. So, Jim, since you've got a lot to say about it, why don't you start us off?
Okay.
Okay.
When it comes to fun and kind of ridiculous game moments, glitches, I think, they're more fun than ridiculous for me. I think ridiculous is, at least in my experience, has been more of the game puts you in a situation that just gets silly. It's usually a little bit better in comedy games. I think it works a little bit better. It does work in other games, like if you think about it, like Gears of War 2, I think, was where you fought the big worm, like you were inside the worm, like traveling through it, like, shooting it in its interior assholes to open up so you could go through, and you end up chainsawing your way out. I mean, if you think about it, you're like fighting your way through and then out of a worm that is so ginormous, as it eats ground, it sinks the cities in that world. That is ridiculous. But my personal favorite ridiculous moment of all time in a video game was in Saints Row 3. Saints Row 3. There is a moment where you...
You can pretty much just leave it at that.
Yeah, you can. But I'm going to get a little specific. If anybody remembers the Zemos character from that, he's the black pimp with the microphone, and he always speaks into it because it auto-tunes his voice. He literally speaks all his dialogue in auto-tune, which is great, but when you have to go get him, he is being held in the basement of like a S&M sex club that's like in this really nice house, and as you go to like break him out, all the bad guys come in at you, and he has like a saddle on his back, and then at first he has like a ball gag in, and you get the ball gag out, but basically what you do is you like hook up your little carriage to him and his harness, and then you drive out like he's like pulling you, and then you engage in a shootout at like 3 miles an hour as other guys are hitching up other guys to their carriages in their S&M gear with their ball gags, and you're like going down the street at night, and you're like trying to shoot other guys out, and there's just like the clopping noise of like horses, even though there's not any actual freaking horses. It's just all humans being pulled along.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is my most favorite moment ever. I actually laughed the entire way through that shootout when I played it the first time. It just doesn't get any better. It was just awesome.
That game is just all ridiculousness. That's a game that I've yet to play, and I really should.
It's a blast.
But yeah. So
both 3 and 4 have just taken it to a whole new level.
What were the first couple like?
The first
one
one
was a bit more serious. Yeah, it was more like GTA. You're a gangster, and it's... I don't know. I haven't actually played the first one. I know some people that have that said it was really good, but you have to like that sort of environment. The second one is where it started to get its, I'll say, comedic flavor.
Yes.
It's still more serious, but there are missions where you hijack sewage disposal trucks and spray the entire town.
Good.
Yeah.
Because why
what is
not?
that song they play? It's like the Teenagers Scared the Living Shit Out of Me. I don't know.
Oh, that's
Who
My
sings it?
Chemical Romance.
There you go. There you
Yeah. That's funny. So when did the giant purple dildo come
Saints
into
Row 4.
play? Was that 4? That wasn't until... I thought that was in 3.
I thought that was in
Was it
3.
in 3?
Yeah, it's in 3. It's in 3 because in that clip that you were referencing, he walks in with that at the start.
Oh, there you go. The dildo bat.
Yeah, the dildo bat.
I think there's also a sex type weapon in 4, but I can't remember.
Oh, I'm sure
It is.
Yeah,
quite
I'm
honestly.
pretty sure there's more than one.
Yeah. But Guido is entirely correct. The first Saints Row was pretty much, it was a GTA clone, but it actually did GTA better than Rockstar did. Because Rockstar went, I don't even know how many games after that with things like missions that had no checkpoints. I mean, if you played GTA back then, and I mean, I can remember, I don't know how many times you'd have to drive all the way across town to do a damn mission, and then you die somewhere in the mission, and you start all the way across town. You have to drive all the way back, start the mission all over, sit through those scenes, and it was just annoying. And I don't know if it was Saints Row 1 or 2, but they finally added a mini map that was actually so good you did not have to look at the rest of the screen to drive, as long as you didn't care about hitting pedestrians. Is that
Well,
2002. Yeah.
Who cares
Okay.
about that?
Yeah, and the protagonist, I think in the second one, he or she only spoke like 5 or 6 lines the whole time, and one of them was like a gonorrhea joke or something.
That I don't remember.
Later, and they were talking about the two guys are talking about banging some lady, and my character mentioned something about, well, as long as you don't mind getting the clap, or I don't know, something like that. But it was good. Saints Row 3 is actually what first started my love affair with Laura Bailey's voice acting. I love Laura Bailey. I would listen to her read the phone book.
What
I'll have to
else
look her
has
up
she
later.
done that we might know?
A bunch of other stuff I can't remember right now.
That's fine. We got the name, so, we can Google that. Oh. So that's some fun ridiculousness. How about some glitchy ridiculousness?
Glitchy ridiculousness. One of my favorites is one Waffles mentioned really quickly. I was playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and it's kind of like nighttime in like this jungle area, and I'm like hopping around from like tree branch to tree branch, and I get on the top of this tree that's been cut off about like, I don't know, 20, 25 feet in the air. And I had been down in the water right before the clip I have started. And as I'm like squatting down, this guy just starts swimming by me in midair. His AI did not realize he was not in the water anymore. And it was insane.
Having seen the clip, I can attest to the ridiculousness of it. It was absolutely hilarious. Just like it took me a minute to realize what it was. Like you said, he's crouching on something, and then like I see something go by, and then I hear the splashing noises, and I'm like, is that guy swimming in the air? Like, oh, what?
Yeah, another one of my favorite ones from Assassin's Creed that I also have a clip for was I was attacking another boat, and you have to kill like so many of the other boat's people. You got to kill the captain, and maybe there might be 1 or 2 other variables you have to meet to successfully take over the boat. And I was what I loved to do was I usually stayed on my boat, and I used all the ammo I had in my pistols to kill everybody I could before I swung over and started, laying out the sword damage. And this particular one, I was getting ready to swing over, and as I do, I don't know if I let go of the rope early or the game just couldn't figure out what I was trying to do, but I essentially went into the side of the boat, and I like got stuck inside the railing. And the guys are like hitting me with their swords, and I'm trying to but my character's in the animation of where he's still trying to climb up and over the side of the rail, and I'm trying to get out because I'm getting hit, and then eventually I just fell through the geometry of the boat, and I couldn't get out, and I had to restart.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw that it ended when you fell into the water, like in the boat. I was wondering if you were able to get out of that or whether that was it.
Nope, I was not. I fell through a boat a few times on Black Flag, but that game is a ton of fun. I really liked it. Had a good time with it.
Yeah, it looks like Assassin's Creed might be notorious for having some interesting glitches. I know Guido posted a video the other day about just a whole bunch of Assassin's Creed, like, stupid crap. I think my favorite is the one where there's two men pushing against a guy who's holding a rifle. Like, he's holding the rifle like this, and they're pushing against him on the wall, and he's, like, resisting. And the character that you play walks up behind and is just standing there for a second, and then he walks forward and knocks the guys apart. Mm-hmm. And then they just walk away
like nothing had happened.
I'm like, nothing ever happened.
For some reason, that one really got me. I was just like, well, okay, well.
Guido, do you have any favorite parts of that?
That video that Katie's referencing there?
Yeah.
My favorite one was the assassin. I think it's Enzio. Is following another guard who's walking through this room, and you just see laid out in this line like 200 guards that he has beaten up, and they're all just laying there groaning in pain. They're not dead.
That's right.
And this guard is just walking along, nothing to see here. And yeah, just this line of bodies. I lost it when I saw that.
How did they?
I'll go back and post it to the website later tonight. So if people want to see it, they can laugh.
Yeah. The two that's just absolutely slayed me when I was watching. I was watching it at work because I had nothing better to do, and I was just giggling my ass off at my desk. Was the one where he's like on top of a roof that's, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 feet wide, 10 or 12 feet long, and there's like 5 or 6 guys up there, and he just like alternates like elbowing them or kneeing them off on either side of the roof, and then more come up, and then they're just waiting around. He punches or he knocks one guy off the roof, some other guy walks up, he knees him off the roof, the other guy walks up, and it's just like knocking down pins. And then the other one was I don't know if it was my favorite, but it's up there. Was the one where he stood at the top of the ladder, and every time a guard came up, he'd just kick him off. It reminds me, my favorite GTA, I think it's 4, video was the one where the guy would go up on the the big billboard. It had a ladder you climb up and a little spot you could walk on in front, and the guy would go up there and he'd get the cops' attention by shooting people on the highway. Well, the cops would all come up, and they'd all like, "You're going down," and they'd all climb up the ladder, but none of them had it in their animation to actually go off the ladder onto the place where you walk, so they just all fall down to their deaths. And you just keep watching it, and next thing you know, there's like 20 dead cops down there. All of them are just going up the ladder and falling down, and they're all talking trash the whole time about how you're going down, or they're going to kick your ass. And they just keep falling. And
I don't know why, but I'm suddenly reminded of LA Noire. I don't know why I'm thinking of that game, but I want to say there was some kind of glitch that was really similar in that game, but I can't remember what it was. But
I've played that.
That was a fun game. You could walk that entire city, and for an open world game, that was a lot of fun.
I liked it. I had a little bit more problems playing it after all the crap came out about how they were treating people at the studio, but I think my favorite thing about LA Noire was the fact that you could play it in black and white.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it has an option to play it in black and white.
Oh wow!
And since the time that it's set in, it's pretty cool. about you, Waffles?
I can't remember a lot of glitches from games that I've played. Like, all of the glitches that I've experienced are all relatively minor. Like the Borderlands, I was talking about that earlier. In Borderlands 2, like, you're farming Knuckle Dragger or Savage Lee, and, like, all of a sudden, like, just, like, shoot up into, like, outer space, and you're just like, wait.
They have a rocket in their ass?
That's like, where did you go? You know,
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Really?
Yeah.
I've actually had it happen quite a few times. I don't know what causes it. It's just you're shooting at them, and all of a sudden they're just like, "Fuck this, I'm out." And they're just, you know. I know I've experienced glitches. Destiny, I think. Destiny has a lot of interesting glitches. Well, it used to have a lot of, like, exploit glitches where, like, you could stand in a certain location and the enemies just didn't know you were there. So, like, you would just stand there, shoot them, and, you know. But of course, Bungie put a stop to most of those real quick, as Bungie does.
Fun haters.
But as far as fun moments, like fun, ridiculous moments, actually one really stands out, and it goes back to the Nintendo 64, actually. I'm sure you all remember the game Perfect Dark.
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Which was GoldenEye's kind of sequel-ish kind of game. But anyways, during the arena or multiplayer, whatever it was called, you could have bots. Network. You could have bots and play against bots. Well, my friend and I would put the hardest difficulty, like 8 hardest difficulty bots, and then make them all the kind that would disarm you, and just, like, use their fists. So, you know, like, when they first get you, they disarm you, and then they just keep hitting you until you die. But in the process, like, if you remember Perfect Dark, like, when you get hit, your screen starts to get really, really blurry. So by the time they killed you, like, you couldn't see anything. So, like, it would just be my friend and I and 8 bots, and they were really fast, like, because they were the hardest ones, and they would just, like, come zooming out of nowhere, and, like, you had to mow them all down before they got to you. Otherwise, I don't know. We did that for hours. Like, that was just we did that on all the different levels. Some levels was just impossible. But that's definitely, like, that's one of those memories of my early gaming years that I think I'll always remember, because it was just, we were just bored one day and we're like, well, I wonder what happens if you do this. And it was surprisingly difficult. The best thing to do was just pick a corner and hide and hope you don't run out of ammo. I don't know. There were some glitches in GoldenEye that I remember. I think at the end of the facility, like, there was a glitch where, like, the enemies would just keep coming and coming and coming and coming. Like if you did something, they just kept. That Perfect Dark mode sounds a lot like COD Zombies. It was. We actually nicknamed it Starship Troopers, because, like, just, you know, the enemies just kept coming and coming, kind of like, well, the shitty movie Starship Troopers, not the book. But in GoldenEye, the facility level, like, I would equip the lasers, and if you, like, left your controller and pointed at this one direction, and then held down the trigger, like, it would kill the enemies before they could shoot you. So I would leave my Nintendo running for hours, just shooting in one spot, and I would come back and quit the game and see how many enemies I killed. Like, I got up to, like, 25,000 or something once.
Holy crap.
Holy shit.
It was just, I don't know. Like, it was kind of dumb, but I definitely remember that, because I used to I used to do that a lot just for funsies, bored kid. So my fun memories are kind of tame compared to some of the crap that there is now, but yeah.
Tame, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I can remember me and a friend when I was younger on the NES. We must have spent like an hour trying to get into -1 world. Remember that one? It's at the end of World 1-2. You basically.
Oh, you mean Super Mario?
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers. I'm sorry. Should have been.
Yeah, I was gonna
that
say
would probably help. To know
what game are we talking about now?
I'm a few bars. Give me something to work with.
Right. I mean, that's nothing special. And once you got in, it sucked because it's the swimming levels, and nobody who's American likes those. At least I don't. I don't like the swimming levels, but and it was just basically endless swimming. So it wasn't a lot of fun, but actually doing it was actually cool. And after we did it, like we went and we wrote it down how to do it on a piece of paper. Like we saw it in like Nintendo Power or something, and it was like a little tiny chunk of text, but we wrote out like 2 pages of exact instructions to give to like our science teacher who could go home and give it to her son so he could do it too. It wasn't crazy or anything. It was kind of tame, but I still remember it. That was in junior high. I'm 40, and I still remember that.
I remember, I have a lot of memories of GoldenEye and Perfect Dark because those were like 2 of my favorite games. I remember playing multiplayer with somebody and putting like a board between the upper and the lower because it used to be split screen.
Yeah.
So there was this big board. I would sit up top, and my friend would sit underneath the board, and like you could see him. So like you turned off the radar, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh God, how much time did you spend staring at walls? Like if you don't have that board there, they can see your screen, but you turn the radar off. If you just like stare next to a wall, like stare at the wall, they can't see your environment. That's what I did. And then I would watch their screen until I knew they were coming in the room that I was in, and then I'd turn and try to kill them.
I don't know. We spent so much time playing that like we always knew where we were. Like we didn't even have to look at each other's screen. I could literally look at my friend's screen and navigate my screen perfectly and like still kill him and everything. And it was just like we played a lot of GoldenEye and Perfect Dark. It was kind of ridiculous.
Go ahead.
A really fun, and this doesn't fall under glitches or like exploits or anything, but one of my favorite ridiculous games was Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I've never played.
It's for its time. I thought it was just batshit crazy. I was like, they let
Nintendo didn't make games like that, as I recall. Is it on the Rare Replay?
I believe so. Right? Yeah. It's a rare game.
And what's the title again?
Conker's Bad Fur Day. Like it was slightly vulgar. Like there was.
Shit,
I mean, they bleeped out. Yeah, they bleeped out a lot of like F words and everything, but like you could definitely tell what they were saying, and like they used words like twat and I just thought it was absolutely ridiculous. I loved it. The multiplayer in it was so wrong. There were levels that made fun of Saving Private Ryan, where like the squirrels invaded this beach that was, and like they redid scenes like you saw in Saving Private Ryan, but with like squirrel characters, and the Nazis were like these stuffed bears, and it was so wrong and so fun.
So wrong and so right.
That was like my introduction to like bad games, and I was like, oh my god, this was so hilarious. But yeah, if you play Bad Fur Day on Xbox, is all censored, but on the Nintendo it was uncensored. Apparently Harlequin Sucks says that the Xbox version is censored. If you can get a hold of the original version without the censoring, I think you would absolutely love it. I still have it. One of these days I'm going to bust it out and play it again, but that was...
Probably not on stream, though.
No, I would definitely do it on stream. I don't know how I'd hook up my Nintendo 64, but sure I can figure something out.
We'll make it happen.
I'll just point my camera at it and just...
There you go.
There.
Nope.
Uh-oh. I've lost Jim.
Yes.
Jim froze.
On my
Come
screen,
back
you
to us,
guys
Jim.
froze.
Come back to us.
I'm back.
Okay.
We're going to kind of talk about fun moments as well, and not really ridiculous, but one of the funnest times I've ever had playing a video game was, I don't know, 5 years ago now. I play Wednesday nights with a couple guys here in town and one guy in California. It's kind of how we keep in touch. And mostly we play Borderlands, or when there's only 3 of us because the one guy's out of town a lot for work, we play Destiny now. But for a while there, we were playing Left 4 Dead 2. And we were playing the mission where, I can't remember the name of it, but the whole end part of it is you have to go across a long bridge, and then you have to kind of run down to the right and get on a helicopter to leave. And we were playing, and we were doing okay. We died a few times and had to reset, but we were doing okay. We got most of the way across the bridge, like to the point of, I don't know, there's probably 30 or 40 game feet of bridge left, and some zombies got through and everything went to shit. And the 2 guys in front did not realize at first that everything was going to shit because those 2 guys in back weren't saying anything. We were too busy trying to fight for our lives. So they ran. And then by the time I was able to say something, they were like far ahead. And the one guy said, "Fuck him, I'm just going." So he went to the helicopter. The other guy came back to try to help us. And I said, "You know what? Fuck it. If I fight, I'm going to die." So I am literally going to run. I got good health right now. I am going to run. And that's what I'm going to do. And I ran. And in Left 4 Dead, when you get hit, you slow down. And more zombies catch up to you. And it couldn't have lasted more than 30 or 40 seconds. But I ran. And I kept getting hit. I'd go over around a car. I got to that little area. I could see the helicopter. I get hit. I'm running. I get hit. I run. I get hit. I got on that with literally 1 point of health left onto the helicopter.
Wow.
It's like I thought for sure I was dead. We still talk about that to this day. The other guy behind me, he fucking died. But screw him. I'm the important one here. Let's talk about me. Yeah, and it was just... It was just one of those things, like, you could not... I mean, you literally cannot cut it any closer than that.
That is a really, really fun game that I don't think gets enough credit. It's not super complex. It's just, you get 4 friends together and you can have a lot of fun, especially the online death matches where you get to play some of the zombie creatures. Some people are really good at that. Like, they work as a team and just, like, you're dead before you even get out of the safe room. Yeah, that definitely deserves more praise than it gets. And we want another one. Just like we want another Half-Life.
I don't know why they're not doing that. I remember, and it's been a long enough...
Half-Life or Left 4 Dead?
Well, yes.
No.
Do we really want to go down this road?
We're not talking about Half-Life, because if we do, we're just delaying it another 6 years.
Yeah.
At least.
It's going to be like Duke Nukem when it finally comes out. It's just going to be piss.
Don't curse it like that.
Well, the thing with Left 4 Dead 2, remember when they announced it, people had a shit fit. They're like, because they announced it pretty quick after Left 4 Dead 1 was out, and people are like, oh, they're just going to leave Left 4 Dead 1 behind, they're going to stop supporting it, we're going to have to buy a new game, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's Valve. They've always taken care of their people, of their customers, always. And at least at that point, anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Not a big fan of Greenlight now, Valve. You can get rid of that shit show, and I'd be a happy guy.
Apparently, Steam support is absolute shit too.
Never actually had to go to support for that, but they kept their promise. They kept supporting Left 4 Dead 1 for quite a long time after Left 4 Dead 2 came out, and I don't know, maybe they're just... I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. What games are they making?
I don't think they are.
They have the benefit of time and money.
I think they're so focused on Steam and their stupid little Steam system that, like, they don't have time for... I mean, they're raking in the cash with Steam. Like, I don't think they really care about making games when they're making so much money from Steam. It's like, fuck it. Like, they're just devoting all the energy to their little Steam console, and that's it. I don't have to.
Half-Life 3 at this point, it's just like... I don't know. People wouldn't give them half the amount of shit they get if they hadn't said, we're tired of all these massive waits in between games, so we're going to release 3 episodic pieces of content here, and then just never release the third one.
Yeah.
Like,
was there supposed to be a third one?
Yes, there was.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like the end of the story.
That's why I think it drives everybody crazy.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, like, you know what they're probably going to do when their Steam system launches? Has it already launched? What? I don't know whether it's launched or not, but they're probably going to make it exclusive. They're gonna finally release Half-Life 3 and Left 4 Dead 3, and they're gonna make it exclusive to their system.
I put it on Steam OS. Force everybody into Linux.
Oh God, no, not Steam OS. Jesus.
Right?
Yep.
Oh.
I mean, that would be a brilliant decision on their part. They know they would make money because people are obsessed with Half-Life 3.
But I don't understand it. Like, you're making your own offshoot of Linux, which is already a small fraction of the market comparatively to Windows for people that play games.
Well,
so why would you subsect it even more?
I could see him doing it though, because fucking Gabe is an ass.
Why would you release only like PlayStation or Xbox exclusives? Because it makes money.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think, like, you and I would think, well, you know, if you release it on all systems, more people will buy it. Well, more people will buy a PlayStation 4 to get this game. Like, it's not just money for them, it's money for Sony, you know, it's...
I don't see people buying another box to put Linux on just to play a game.
Oh, I do. I definitely do. Gamers are dumb.
They're whiny, entitled little assholes, but I don't know how dumb they are.
Well,
actually, a lot of them are dumb. I get it.
Yeah. A lot of them are dumb. A lot of them want that game, and they want it now. And
pre-order.
Yeah, pre-order.
Sorry,
Let's not go down. Easy.
We already went down that road.
Yeah, we don't need to bring that back up.
Don't bring out the monster.
So, Jim, you were talking about, I'll say, escape by the skin of your teeth moments. And I was reminded of a couple of years ago, some friends and I were playing the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, which I still love to this day. The Mass Effect 3 by itself is a good game until you get to the end where it's broken. But the multiplayer, when you get some friends together, is fun as hell. We were playing, 3 friends and I, and we're all on chat together, and we're all doing really well. And hey, we get through this mission, and we've got like a minute to get to the exit point. And one of my friends says, "I can't move." And all the other 2 players and I go over to his character, and we just see him running for his life in place. I mean, the character animation's just going crazy, and he's moving like 6 inches a second. He's still moving, but it's like the slowest walk imaginable. And we're all just staying with him because we want to see this. And we get to the extraction point with like 2 seconds to spare. I don't know how we made it, but I mean, you talk about skin of your teeth moments, and wow, that was one of them.
Yeah. Harlequin Socks in the chat talks about, for SteamOS, it's not necessarily buying another box. You can just partition or grab another drive or partition a drive. I'm aware of that, but what you're talking about, a dual boot system, is something most of your everyday people, there's no way they're going to be able to figure that out. Not a single chance that they would figure that out. Tech people do it every day for a living or even just as a hobby. Yeah, they can do that, but most people, it's just beyond them.
Most people just want to press a button and start playing. They don't want to actually use their brains.
That's why I've tended to avoid PC gaming. Well, I don't like dicking around with drivers and shit.
Yeah.
Not to disparage console gamers, but generally console gamers are in that category of, I just want to put in a disc and play.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to...
Yeah, I've heard a lot of console gamers. They're like, that's why I play consoles, because I don't want to deal with all that
and
shit.
It makes sense. You know, in that respect, it makes sense. You know, when you buy that disc, you put it in, you're not going to have issues with drivers and video things. And I mean, it's going to work.
Unless, it's an Ubisoft game.
Yeah. Well.
Or Assassin's Creed, right? You know, you're still going to have some of those glitches that may need to be patched. But the game itself will, run relatively well. So it makes sense for a console gamer. Plug it in and go. You're not going to want to buy another console. So, you're going to be losing that revenue. I don't know.
Well, I bought 3 Xbox 360s over the course of its life.
Jesus.
Wow. I was actually lucky. I had a launch day one that did the red ring of death 9 days before that extended 3-year warranty was up.
Wow.
And then the one after they replaced that, instead of just replacing the eye in there that was causing problems, they replaced everything in there, and I wasn't aware of that, even including all the drive, everything, which I wasn't aware of. And then I may have been trying to mod it with a friend to play games that I may or may not have purchased, and we didn't realize that it had a different drive in there, an optical drive in there, so when we flashed it, it kind of wouldn't read discs anymore.
Oops.
Oh shit, that means I bought 4 of them. That's right, not 3, because I had to replace that one.
God.
I replaced... Oh, no, it's 3. It's 3. That's right. I had the red ring of death. I broke that. I bought a new one to replace it after we flashed it and broke it, and then it got to the point where I needed a bigger hard drive, and in those days, the only way you could get a bigger hard drive of decent size was to buy a special edition that came with like the 320 gig drives. So I ended up buying the Gears of War special edition 360. Yeah.
After hearing all those horror stories about the 360, I was like, I'm never gonna get one. I never did.
I'm still hooked up, but I'll actually be able to unhook it here soon with backwards compatibility on the bone.
Oh yeah, that's true. I had a red ring of death, and I sent my machine in, and they totally replaced it. So
I wonder how much Microsoft lost on all that, or if they lost
millions.
It was. I thought that was like a $1 billion mistake. The thing is, they knew it was going to happen too, and they chose to ship, hoping it wasn't going to be as bad as what the numbers said. I know it was bad enough that when I went to UPS to pick it up one night at like 8 o'clock because I wanted my damn machine back, I went over to it, and the guy handed it to me. It's just a white box. It's got my name on it. He's like, "Here's your Xbox."
Well, I don't know. Considering how much beer I've spilled on literally like all of my electronics, I've been pretty lucky. I've spilled beer on my PlayStation 4, my PC, or my like 3 of my keyboards, my laptop, my mixer, my mice, like everything.
Is there anything you haven't spilled beer on? It would probably be easier to name it off.
Not really, no. And all of it functions still.
I've never spilled beer in a console.
I
or
brought my
anything
phone
else.
in the toilet and it still works. Well, my old
Oh,
phone.
you went in after it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I would
it's a
too.
phone. I mean, if you go quick enough, you don't get anything on you, right?
No, that's a lie. Unless you've
No,
got
it's-
some unless you can coat your hand in like a podium or something, or like a rubber glove handy. You know what?
It's my own pee.
Well, at least it was only pee. At that point, you're like dodging.
Actually, I don't even know. I don't remember whether I'd even peed first because it was in my back pocket. And like when you take your pants down to pee, it just kind of pops out of the pocket and bloop.
I'm gonna take your word on that. I don't take my pants down to pee.
Well, yeah, but I think Kaz in
You
chat
barbarian!
he says 5-second rule.
You know
There you
what?
go.
For a damn iPhone or even any phone at that matter, because they're all expensive now. Unless you got like a $25 a month phone, I'd go in. I wouldn't even hesitate. I'd be like,
Having just broken mine and seen prices of new phones and everything, I definitely will do just about anything to get my phone back.
yeah,
Yep.
phones are so damn expensive. I
know.
need to switch providers, and I refuse to because I am not going to buy another freaking iPhone right now. Like I usually get the what are they 60 gig, 30 gig, whatever, so I can keep most of my music library. Hey, it's Waffles. It's Waffles on Waffles.
Selfie.
How very
Sorry.
meta.
Yeah, we were lucky.
Yeah, this is an old phone, and this was like $600. Like this is a Droid Turbo, which has been out for like in phone terms a long ass time, and a new one would still have cost me $600.
Well,
I don't even have old phones at this point because I traded my iPhone 5. Like when I went over to T-Mobile, they're like, trade in your own phone, old phone. I'm like, well, how much you give me for it? And they're like, $150. I'm like, take it. So I don't have any old phones anymore. I just literally
good
have
deal.
nothing. If my phone actually breaks and my Apple Care is out of warranty, that would be the time that I would actually switch to a better provider.
iPhones.
Waffles,
Yes.
do you have a favorite fun gaming moment from playing multiplayer?
I don't.
I hate everybody I play with. They suck. They're all holding me back.
No, I don't really co-op that much. Like I don't play a lot of PvP. Most of the funny moments that I've had during PvP are just because I suck so much. Like it's like, oop, I'm dead again. I don't know. I know there's got to be some moments where something ridiculous has happened, but I don't know.
Do you warn people when you're about to die in multiplayer? Like, I do.
I do, yes. Well, I mean, like with Borderlands, you kind of have to because, you know, they need to get you back up. But
Yeah. I was thinking Destiny. I'm just like, the whole time, if I'm like doing something bad, I'm like, I'm going down, I'm going down, I'm going down, I'm going down. Ah, shit, I'm dead. Just don't even revive me. I deserve to stay dead for a while after that, guys. Just go
Well,
on with your life.
there was an incident a couple nights ago with Dirch and I playing Borderlands 2. We were doing Murderland's Temple, and you know, there's trapdoors in that.
oh,
And him and I both died 3 times to those trapdoors. Like, we're just going around, and then all of a sudden it's like, Last night
Were you in
we
the,
were playing the Holodome in the pre-sequel, and I kept falling into the swirling blades at the bottom of the map. Like, ever since I died in that One Life to Live run by backstepping off of the platform, I'm falling into everything.
The Wall of Death was my favorite death of
Oh,
yours.
the Wall of Death. Yeah, I guess that counts as a ridiculous moment.
Do you have a highlight of that?
I really should highlight that. I'm sure I've got it recorded
In
somewhere.
my head, I remembered as you looking at it, but did that just happen? Like you knew it, but your brain was not making the correlation that it happened, even though you know it happened. Because were you in 20s? You were pretty high up.
Yeah, I was in the 20s.
Level 20s?
Probably like mid 20s or something, because that was the bunker.
So that was a fun moment for me, but
Yeah, for those of you who weren't here for that or listening to this after the fact, I was doing my One Life to Live run with Maya in Borderlands 2, and we were coming up to the bunker, the part where you have to grab Claptrap and he deactivates the death wall. Well, I'm jumping up the hill, but I turn around so I can watch like what's going on down there. I'm watching the enemies fight each other, and I just keep jumping backwards and backwards and backwards, and all of a sudden it was just like, phew. And I was like, I just jumped backwards through the death wall. I couldn't believe it. I just absolutely... I've had a lot of deaths like that where it's just like, why did that just happen?
Oh, hey, check out Harlequin's socks over in the chat here. What is the single biggest factor that turns you off of a game?
Repetition. Well, not repetition. Because obviously One Life to Live is repetition to the extreme. We were actually talking about Mad Max earlier and how the reviews are saying that it's kind of boring. And I brought up the fact, and I brought this up before in past podcasts, where I really didn't like Far Cry 2 because like there just wasn't enough variation. Like the enemies just respawned like that. Like the variation between the maps, or the one map that you were in, was just not great. All the vehicles were basically the same. Like there just wasn't enough. There were a lot of missions, but it was all just kind of meh. And I think that's what really gets me. And I kind of got that feeling today when I was watching Mad Max. It looks fun, it's a good game, but it looks like it's all the same thing.
It's not so much repetition as lack of variation.
Yeah. Busy work.
Yeah, Cass puts it busy work. I think busy work is a good word for it.
Yeah, like Borderlands 2 is definitely repetition, but there's a lot of variation in it. Like every different area that you go to has something new and something to switch it up, different types of enemies, etc. Far Cry 2 was just like the same enemies.
And I think Borderlands 2 in particular did a very good job of finding that, that whatever 10-second, 20-second fun loop. I mean, how many times have we been through that game, start to finish, and I still think Borderlands 2 is very fun. Because even though it's the same thing, they've got that little loop of fun that hits that whatever endorphin in my head that makes it great. But things that can turn me off of a game right away, pretty much human-on-human combat, don't really care for. I don't really like Call of Duty.
As opposed to AI.
Right.
You mean like PvP?
Well, in general, I mean just the concept of humans fighting humans. I don't really care for Call of Duty for the most part. I'm trying to play that because we have so many Baka kids that play it, and I want to be able to discuss it with them, like, intelligently. But I don't really care for that. I would prefer to shoot aliens or something.
Yeah.
But if you get past that and you get me into the game, the busy work's a big one. Shitty camera angles, like excessive shitty camera angles that cause cheap deaths, will piss me off till no end.
Mm-hmm.
That really pissed me off in Bloodborne when you fight the cleric beast for the first time. That camera angle made me, if it wasn't a Souls game, I probably would have rage quit. Like, I didn't die. I beat the Cleric Beast on the first try, but that camera angle...
Me too. It took me like a week and a half to get there because I suck so bad. And I used like 18 of 20 blood vials, and then I've never made it to another boss. I have seen the pig. I don't even know if that's a main boss or a mini boss, but it's...
You and I need to co-op. I'll get you there.
I suck so bad. Like, so bad.
I'll carry you.
I'm not proud. I will be carried.
You're so considerate.
How about you, Guido? You haven't really... We've been overpowering you.
That's all right. So I'll say the funnest glitch that I had experienced was I was playing Star Trek, the Into Darkness, whatever the game was that the continuation of that was. And when I play a game solo, I tend to like to explore everything.
He means everything.
That's my wife there.
Cameo, Mrs. Guido.
So, no stone left unturned. If I can find it, I will. And in that kind of game where you have a bunch of enemies, in order to be that to have that exploration, you have to be a bit stealthy to get around everything without getting killed. So I was playing Star Trek, and there's this one level where you're on this plateau, and you're being attacked by a whole bunch of enemies. And I'm skirting around the edge, trying to not get shot, and suddenly I fall into the terrain. I mean, I'm literally just half enveloped in this rock. You can just see like part of my face, an arm with a gun, and a leg. And suddenly the enemy stopped shooting at me. It's the best camo I have ever experienced. And it was great. So, a couple of minutes later, I'm able to sneak out and get around the rest of the map. And I don't think I was seen after that point. But it was one of those glitches where it's just like, what the hell just happened? So
It was a
that
good
was a
glitch.
lot of fun. Yeah, it was a good glitch.
It's kind of like
Totally
one
not
of boss
intentional.
glitches in Dark Souls. You feel really bad, but you're really happy at the same time.
Yeah.
I can just
That was
wail away on you until
totally
you die.
intentional.
Yeah.
One other glitch that had come to mind earlier when you guys were talking was I remember seeing in a friend who is playing Batman Arkham Knight. Batman doesn't kill anyone. He beats the crap out of people, and I'm pretty sure he's got some kind of deal with the local hospital where he gets a cut of all of the insurance money that they pay out. But, that's just a theory on my part. But this guy, Batman had beat the crap out of him, and when the animation ended, you see this body that is 4 feet in the air, hanging out of a wall. Now, that in itself isn't so bad until you go into that detective X-ray mode, and you see, here's the wall, here's the guy's neck, and here's the head.
Oh,
Like 4 feet in.
Oh.
that's normal.
He's
What are you talking
fine.
about? I
He'll
saw that
sleep it
last
off.
week. Just walking
He'll
down.
sleep it off.
Take some aspirin.
Yeah. But
Have you
seen
you
it?
know,
Go ahead.
the heartbeat's still going. It just says unconscious.
Of course it is.
No.
Unconscious and now building material.
Right.
I saw a GIF on Arkham Knight the other day that was Batman was like fighting all these guys, and there was like a bridge over kind of here and above him, and apparently you can call the Batmobile or something. But Batman was like fighting this group of guys over by this building, and the guy playing backed way up, and he was starting to run forward again. I think he was just trying to get his breath, and then the Batmobile came off the bridge and just like landed on all these guys. Just like, I'm pretty sure they're
But they're
dead.
not dead. They're
Oh,
all
they're
just
unconscious.
unconscious.
They're just unconscious.
Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's things like that that just make me smile.
They're always a good one. Always. Glitches for the most part are fun. As long as they don't actively detract, like losing my saves or something like that. I'm usually pretty patient when you consider the amount of work that goes into a game just to make it functional. But
Well,
Yeah, I'm pretty forgiving when it comes to glitches, as long as it's not something that's rage-inducing.
Assassin's Creed level.
right. Hey, can I go back for just 1 second on the what
Yeah.
turns you off from a game? This I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but L.A. Noire is a big example of something that turns me off from a game, even though I love the game. Was after the game was released, when it came out, how absolutely horrible
Oh,
the main guy on that game, Brandon McNamara or something like that. He treated these people horribly, and his company, like they were forcing people into crunch mode for essentially 2 years, I think it was. I don't remember what the exact number was, but they knew people would want to quit. So what they did was they changed people's working contract to, you will get all your overtime after the game ships. But the game took like 5 years to make because it kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed.
yeah.
And that came out, and then somebody finally contacted that Brandon guy for a comment, and he basically said, well, yeah, we had to ship a game. It's like, that's not how you fucking treat people. It is not how you treat people. And even
Yeah,
though I
that
loved
company
L.A. Noire,
disbanded.
yeah, I essentially did not play that game for over a year, and then I picked up the DLC really cheap, and I just played through it. But it was just poor treatment of your employees really turns me off of a game, which is kind of stupid because that kind of punishes the people that built the game that were getting treated so poorly, but it is what it is.
Well, all right.
Sorry, reading some
think-
comments there.
We are out of time. We're actually a little bit over time. Just a little bit.
Overtime!
Yeah.
Deathmatch! NFL
chatty.
Blitz.
So I'm going to go ahead and thank everybody for hanging around with us, listen to us babble on and on about, stuff. And I appreciate everybody's support. I'm plan on streaming after this podcast, so stick around. That's all I got.
Nerd!
Jim, you want to do the closure?
We all need closure, don't we? Yes, I will take care of that for you. Hey, everybody, if you want to keep track of the latest updates from the Waffle Squad podcast and possibly get in touch with us, we got multiple options for you. You can see our website over at wafflesquad.com. There's a few updates went in today about some anger about microtransactions and stuff. Pretty good reading, if I do say so myself. You can email us at wafflesquadcast@gmail.com. You can get hold of us on Twitter at Waffle Squadcast, or you can join our community on Facebook. Just search for the Waffle Squad podcast.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Correct.
All right. Well, for myself and these two lovely gentlemen, I hope you guys have a good couple of weeks, and we will see you soon.